You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. We're talking all about the Queenborough Harbour Trust. Firstly, the both of you, thank you very much for coming along, and I was hoping you could introduce yourselves for us.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, first of all, for inviting us to come back to your show, and we're delighted to be with you tonight. My name is Jeff Reed, and I'm one of the trustee directors of Queenborough Harbour Trust. And I'm delighted to bring with me tonight Mark Evans, who is our recently appointed professional harbour manager. And he'll be with us tonight, and he'll be giving some of the lowdown of the actual operations of Queenborough Harbour. So we're looking forward to that. First of all, let me remind people, if I may, about Queenborough Harbour Trust. That's the organisation that runs the mooring facilities at Queenborough Harbour, of course, and we are a company with a CIC status, community interest company, and that means that we run the business of Queenborough Harbour for the good of the harbour. For example, we do not make any profits from Queenborough Harbour. The surplus that we make is automatically reinvested into the running of the harbour. So there's no profits there, everything is reinvested. That's why Queenborough Harbour has a CIC status. And our job is to run the moorings and other facilities at Queenborough Harbour, not only for the present, but for posterity as well. We all recognise that Queenborough Harbour is a magical place for harbour facilities. Not only is it a destination in its own right with that splendid high street at Queenborough and the other historical associations such as the Castle and of course Nelson, but that in terms of a maritime centre, Queenborough has that unique location that allows all the important places like London, the southeast, the continent, the east coast, as well as the Medway itself, to be just a tide away. So our job is to look after Queenborough Harbour for now and for the future.
I was hoping you could tell us a bit more about who the Queenborough Harbour Trust are and how you got involved as well.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name's Mark Evans, as Jeff introduced me earlier. I took over as Harbour Manager at the beginning of December last year. The Harbour Trust is managed or led by 5 directors. All 5 directors work on a voluntary basis, they're not paid, and their role is to manage the direction of the harbour and the growth of the harbour. I was taken on, as I mentioned, in December, and my role is to look at managing compliance within the harbour, making sure all of our facilities are maintained, filling our berths, making sure we've got full berths moving forward for the next season, looking for opportunities to invest in the harbour and bring added value for both mooring holders and for visiting yachtsmen, but also looking at opportunities where we can provide greater income and jobs for the future for local residents in Queenborough and on Sheppey. I'm lucky to have 2 great deckhands working for me, Phil Shaw and Max Cornell. They operate most of the day-to-day activities within the harbour, and they also run our trot boat, which is currently a free service for mooring holders and for visiting yachtsmen. We also have Pauline, who manages our accounts and our admin, and both myself and Pauline are part-time. Phil and Max are full-time, and us 4 make up the only paid staff within the harbour. Everyone else, as I mentioned, the directors are volunteers, but also we have quite a number of friends and volunteers that work for us. Tim, Malcolm, Margaret, many others that work on a voluntary basis and provide a number of support roles as we sort of move forward and grow the harbour and enhance the facilities.
So why did the Harbour Trust take over the moorings?
Well, Daniel, about 3 years ago, Swale Council, when it was looking at the cost of running Queenborough Harbour, reminded themselves perhaps that it was running at a substantial loss, and at a time when council money was in short supply, and they were looking to cut down on deficit budgets that they were holding. Therefore, they announced that they were looking to move out of running Queenborough Harbour moorings, and in subsequent conversations with them, they said they were absolutely serious about that, and if a group had not come forward to run the moorings, then they would have simply walked away from Queenborough, put the mooring chains back on the seabed, and that unique facility that Queenborough has to offer would have been at risk. A group of local people recognised this and were determined that the maritime facilities and the recreational sailing facilities and motorboat facilities that had always been, that had been available at Queenborough for a long time, were not to be put at risk, were not to be jeopardised. Therefore, they came together and formed the Queenborough Harbour Trust. They were a trust in the sense that they were trusted with looking after the harbour, the growth of the harbour, and the development of the harbour. And for the last 3 years, that's what Queenborough Harbour Trust have been doing, with, I think, some success. But perhaps we'll come to that later on.
What services do you provide at the Queenborough Harbour Trust?
Well, primarily we're providing mooring services for boats that are permanently moored in the harbour. We have moorings alongside the town quay, swinging moorings, what we call fore and aft moorings for larger boats, half-tide moorings. We also have the new pontoon, which we brought in recently, come in at the end of last year, which we're getting ready to be in place for the new season, where we can take permanent berth holders alongside as well as visiting yachts. We also have a dinghy park where people can store small dinghies and take them down the hard into the water. More importantly, we have a trot boat, which I mentioned earlier. We run every weekend throughout the season and all day throughout July and August, from 10 in the morning till 9:30 in the evening, primarily so we can ferry people out to their boats and back, but also so we can bring visitors ashore. They can then spend money in the shops, pubs, restaurants, and obviously bring more income into the town and support the local services and community. All of this costs money, and as Jeff mentioned, originally Swale Borough Council were making a loss and wanted to perhaps not provide this service in the future. We're trying to turn that around. We're in this transition period where we need to spend a lot of money maintaining what we have, but also enhancing the facilities, and to do that we need to raise money. We are seeking all sorts of avenues for funding, and one of those is a new scheme which we're launching this year, which we're calling Adopt a Plank. Our Adopt a Plank has come about the same time as we're refurbishing our walkway. We've got a 180 metre walkway which goes from the shore down to the new pontoon, and that's made up of approximately 1,200 planks. We've got the money in place to refurbish the walkway, but if we can raise some money by asking people to sponsor a plank, then we can generate additional income which we can spend on security, on showers, on toilets and other facilities that will bring more visiting boats and more income to the town and to the island. So this will be launching in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll be looking for anybody and everybody to participate, adopt a plank, and to support the good work we're doing in the harbour.
With that Adopt a Plank, Mark, is that just for visiting yachtsmen to adopt a plank, and or local local businesses invited to adopt a plank? Who are we aiming that at?
Good question. We're looking at a number of different avenues for adopting the plank. One is the visiting yachts. One is existing mooring holders, local yacht clubs, local businesses, local pubs, restaurants, local community groups, but also individuals that really want to see the harbour a success. They want to see income into the harbour. They want to see a busy, thriving harbour. And we think if we can attract as many people as possible to support this, we can then move on to asking people to perhaps help us in other ways, not necessarily financial, but by becoming a friend of the harbour or a volunteer. The more we can do with friends and volunteers that are working on a voluntary basis, non-paid, the more money we can put back into the harbour, the more facilities we can provide, and the quicker we can get everything to a point we want to get to, and the more income we can generate locally. So the thing hopefully will become self-perpetuating, where the more people we attract, the more income, the more support, and
the more investment.
Growth.
Yeah, more growth,
investment.
yeah. Excellent.
We are at the moment talking all about the Queenborough Harbour Trust. You could tell the listeners how you are funded.
Certainly, Daniel. Thanks for that. Well, clearly funding is crucial. I was saying earlier on that Swale Borough Council had to move out of providing the mooring services at Queenborough because of the loss they were making. We took that over, that's we, Queenborough Harbour Trust, and we clearly needed to establish it at least a small profit. We could not afford, we didn't have the resources to run it at a loss, and which we have achieved. Now, the funding comes primarily through the mooring fees that the mooring holders pay for the various types of moorings that we have available. Some are more expensive than others are cheaper. And we have visitors coming to Queenborough. Last year, it was a record number of visitors we had. We had in excess of 1,500 boats come to Queenborough, either as a destination or as a part of the way to their full journey to London or the southeast or the continent or from the continent or wherever. And increasingly our visitors are a very important part of our funding stream. In addition to the mooring fees that the mooring holders and the visitors pay, we've been fortunate. As I said, we took over the moorings from Swale Borough Council, and Swale Borough Council have been proactive in helping us to achieve funding grants from the government. Swale Borough Council were not in themselves in a position to apply for funds, but as a community interest group that Queenborough Harbour Trust is, we are in a position to apply, and they assisted us, and with their help we were able to attract a grant of £300,000 from the government on their right to challenge funding stream to put the pontoon into place. That's a 60 by 10 metre pontoon. It once had a life in Gosport, part of the Gosport ferry terminal, and then has been towed to Queenborough and has been installed in the swale as a part of our new facility to walk ashore for the visiting boats and the permanent mooring holders. In fact, we applied for £250,000 originally, but the government, in perhaps an unusual move, recognised that we needed some spending money or some immediate investment money to keep us going successfully, and they provided us with an additional £50,000, which is not a story you're going to hear every day, I guess. And in addition to the funding of the £300,000 from the Right to Challenge grant, we have also applied for and been successful to achieve low-cost loans from Swale Borough Council and from Kent Community Foundation, which will provide us with approximately £100,000 that will give us the money to restore the old tide landing at Queenborough back to a usable condition. Just to remind people that the old tide landing at Queenborough was built 20 years ago with a lifespan of 20 years. Well, the engineers were about right, and now it needs replacing. So we have undertaken a loan in order to restore the old tide landing. So it's a combination of mooring fees, grants, and loans that are providing the necessary resources to invest in those unique attractions that Queenborough has. So clearly the funding is important, and Mark was telling us of his Adopt a Plank, or not his, but our Adopt a Plank scheme, because we recognise that this services and facilities that the modern boat owner now expects far exceeds what at Queenborough we have to offer. And if we're going to compete in the modern world, then we need to be able to supply the demands that our visitors and our resident mooring holders quite reasonably require, and that will require a substantial investment. So please, if as Mark was saying, you would like to see Queenborough to expand its maritime facilities, then when that scheme is launched, do think about adopting one of our planks that will enable us to put more facilities in place.
So what has the Trust achieved since you took over?
Well, we have done, I think, quite a lot in the amount of time that we have taken over. We've expanded the moorings that are available, so that we've always had swinging moorings in Queenborough and the moorings in the creek. But we have established, as I said, thanks to a government loan, walk ashore pontoon moorings that go some way towards satisfying those who are looking for marina type facilities. You have the comfort and the convenience of just walking from your boat onto the shore. But in addition to the pontoon moorings, we've also established low-cost shoal moorings as well. These are available at a reduced rate, and they enjoy water for approximately half of the tidal period. So they're not always afloat as our other moorings are. Sometimes the boats sit on the mud, but for the majority of the time they're in the water, so people can access their boat and then go sailing or motoring. But they are at a substantially reduced fee. So we have a range of moorings at a range of prices. Gosh, that sounds like an awful advert there, but it's true. So as well as increasing the moorings, we've increased our personnel. As Mark was telling you, we now have 2 full-time harbour operators, and Mark has a manager and a professional bookkeeper to help keep us in financial trim. And of course, the personnel that any company has is the most important asset they got, and we are very lucky to have people of the quality of Phil, Max, Mark and Pauline. So that's a tremendous advantage for us, but of course, professional personnel costs. As I said before, we have raised the money to refurbish the all-tide landing, so that essential facility of being able to walk out and get onto your boat and not always have to rely upon a dinghy and thereby getting a wet bottom is important, and we're delighted that we've raised the money to refurbish the all-tide landing. And there are other things as well, as things that are uniquely maritime. We've established a regular newsletter that has been put together by Margaret Brett and her team of helpers, and it's not just about boats, it's not just about Queenborough Harbour, but it's about Queenborough and its surrounds, and is a very, I think, a very nice, informative community communication, and we're pleased to fund that as well. So those are just some of the improvements that we've made since Queenborough Harbour Trust has taken over the running of the moorings.
I was hoping you could let us know what's new for the season next.
Okay, we've got a number of things which we are putting into place for the coming season. Jeff's already mentioned the new pontoon, which, as well as providing walk ashore access, will actually be the firm basis for our office. So our office has moved now from Crundle's Wharf onto the pontoon. The fact that the pontoon is so large and so well constructed means we can put the office on there, we can put some of our materials on there. In the future we can look at bringing showers and toilets onto the pontoon, but also a little way in the future we'll be looking at providing fuel service as well. So without the pontoon we wouldn't be able to do those things, so that's another reason why we put in such a substantial facility at the harbour. At the moment, if you go down to the harbour and you look across, you'll see a very large barge with a crane perched on top, and that crane is there to unload materials for refurbishing the walkway, which is commenced today and will take approximately 5 or 6 weeks to complete. We'll have a nice new walkway leading to the landing and a safe route ashore. To get onto the walkway, as has been the case for a number of years, the turnstile requires a token to operate it. The turnstile isn't in great condition, and this is one of the reasons why we need to ask people to support us with the Adopt a Plank scheme, so that we can raise money to improve the turnstile, improve access, improve security. And it would be nice when we're in a position to be able to take away the coin operated system, move to a different system which is more secure, but also where we don't have to charge people to get back to their mooring. There's very few facilities in the UK which do charge people to get back to their boat. So what we're doing this year is we're providing a free token for all visiting crew members on a yacht. So if you turn up on a boat with 4 crew members, we'll give you 4 free tokens so you can go ashore and come back to the boat without actually having to purchase a token. One of our volunteers at the moment, Tim Bell, is trialling a CCTV system, and once the trials on that are complete, we'll be looking to install CCTV, which will improve our security and also give us the facility to monitor security via the internet. So we don't have to be at the harbour. We'll have a recording facility and we can monitor security on moored boats and other activities on and around the pontoon. Also, if that wasn't enough, we're also introducing our second trot boat. Rather bizarrely, trot boat 1 is called Sheppey 1. Our second trot boat is called Sheppey 3. There is a Sheppey 2, but it actually belongs to someone else. Used to be owned by a Swale Borough Council, but it is no more. But Sheppey 3 is being brought into commission in the next 4 weeks or so, and that will give us a backup to their first trot boat. So if we do have a breakdown on one trot boat, we've got another there which we can get out to assist people. So those are the things which we're planning to do over the next couple of months. A lot of those are in progress at the moment, and with the Adopt a Plank scheme we're looking at donations of £25 to adopt a plank, and each person that adopts a plank will be able to request a personalised plaque which we can put onto that plank. So it could be your name, it could be your boat's name, it could be your pet's name, it could be the name of your business, your pub, your restaurant, anything else that you'd like to see on the plaque. But in this way we hope that we can then build up a visible picture of all those people that are supporting the community, supporting the harbour, and want to see everything a success.
If I can come in there, if I may, one of the other developments we're working on at the moment is to give each of our visitors a pack of information when they arrive, information about Queenborough, including the various historical stories and accidents and histories that go on that has gone on in Queenborough, and in addition inviting those that provide businesses and services to talk to our visitors, communicate by some written information, so that those people that come to Queenborough, and I said last year we had in excess of 1,500 boats, so say it's an average 4 people a boat, that many actual visitors, that more of them get off their boats and give themselves the pleasure of sampling the pubs and the restaurants and the shops that Queenborough has to offer. So there's going to be quite an effort to broadcast the attractions of Queenborough and encourage people to sample those attractions.
Is the Queenborough Harbour Trust only of interest to people with boats?
Definitely not. It's of interest to anybody who has at their heart the desire to see Queenborough develop and prosper, because with the development of Queenborough Harbour, so there will be a positive knock-on effect to Queenborough itself as people come ashore and spend their time and their, let's be honest, their money in the town, in the pubs, and as well as that, as the number of moorings grow at Queenborough and the number of people visiting Queenborough increase, so maritime facilities will be increasingly sought out. Boat builders, boat menders, anything to do with boats will expand. New businesses, we hope, will start. And we will only play a part of that, of course, but we think it is an important part, and we hope that we will be at the centre of Queenborough developing and becoming a prosperous, delightful place to go.
So I understand that you can become a volunteer or a friend of the Queenborough Harbour Trust. I was hoping you could tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah. Okay, yes, I'd be delighted to. There's a number of people who want to participate and be a part of the harbour and its development, and have offered their services or contacts to us, and have become friends of Queenborough Harbour. Now, we're lucky that one of our friends, Malcolm Bennett, oversees that development and makes sure that all runs smoothly. We are always looking to attract people to become a friend of Queenborough Harbour, to be there more at the centre of things, to be able to express their views and their ways of developing Queenborough, as well as offering their services. I'm constantly surprised as just how many people have said, we've always loved Queenborough, we love coming to Queenborough, is there anything we can do to make sure that things continue to grow? And by becoming a friend of Queenborough Harbour, you can do precisely that. One of our friends in Queenborough is Queenborough Yacht Club. They've been cooperative and helpful to us, and we have shown that we value their support, and we offer a 12.5% discount on any mooring that somebody takes up if they are a member of Queenborough Yacht Club. So if anybody, when they are thinking of taking up a mooring in Queenborough, my recommendation would always to join Queenborough Yacht Club. It's a good place to go with like-minded people, and the likelihood is that the discount you receive on your mooring will more than pay for your Queenborough Yacht Club membership. You get that in effect free. So Queenborough Yacht Club is a club to join. So friends, if you want to contact us, I will give you the contact details shortly, and I think I'm going to say that's it as far as we are concerned. I'd like to thank all those friends who've already contributed. I know quite recently we've had a broken water pipe that somebody has mended for us, and some carpentry repairs. So thanks as always to those friends, and Mark will give you the contact details.
Okay, you can contact us by telephone on 01795 662 051. So that's 01795 662 051. Or you can visit our website, which is www.queenborough-harbour.co.uk. So that's queenborough-harbour.co.uk. The website is updated once or twice a week. It's got all the current news and items that are happening. There's a link to the Friends and Volunteers information form, so you can fill out information there. And there's also a link to our email address on the website, which is info@queenborough-harbour.co.uk. And there's also a link to Facebook. So there's lots of ways to get in touch.
As well, of course, just going into Queenborough and getting in touch with one of our people in the harbour.
Yep.
Well, if you're happy we've covered everything, I'd like to thank you, the both of you, for coming along and telling us and updating us on how you're doing at the Queenborough Harbour Trust.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
We're pleased to be here.